been noted that in the allocations this year, there is a marked reduction from what was there in the 2023-2024 budget. For example, in agriculture, the allocation in this 2024-2025 budget is 83.331 billion shillings, down from 96.095 billion. That's at least 13 billion shillings reduction from last year's budget, the one that is at the tail end this month. In education, which is the biggest allocation either way, 659 billion shillings, accounting for 27.5% of the entire budget. But this is still down by 30 billion shillings, no less, from the last budget, which was 689 billion. In health, another notable reduction from 134.76 billion to 131 billion shillings. Now, these are key sectors, Edwin: agriculture, health, and education. At a time when Kenyans are being asked to dig deeper into their pockets to raise more taxes, then we see this kind of reduction in key sectors. Why do you think this is?
Thank you, Fred. The government is in a better position to explain why they have done the reductions, because you look at the contribution of agriculture to the GDP is over 30%. You look at the education sector, this is where the innovation, the entrepreneurial training is done. This is where young Kenyans are fine-tuned into productive members of the society. When you reduce budget allocations in these critical areas, you wonder what future you hold for the country, because agriculture is contributing as an alternative form of employment to the country, because many independent experts and also even leaning experts portend that agriculture is a key sector in terms of helping the government create alternative forms of employment. Now, when you underfund this sector, it basically means you're denying it the capacity to grow and expand to horizons that would even open the economy to new heights. And when you look at the infrastructure in our schools, you wonder why the government would reduce allocation to these institutions. Look at the state of our universities. Most of them are debt-ridden. Most of them are wallowing in a lot of debt, and they cannot innovate anymore. They cannot have sufficient allocation to research. They can't invest in modern, technologies that would enhance and streamline learning of higher education, which makes Kenya less competitive, not only in Africa, but also globally. So you find universities can no longer invest in these technologies, and graduates that are churned into the job market every single year are not fully equipped to significantly participate in the economic discourse. This would have allowed the government to allocate more resources to the critical areas that would impact the economy more. And Fred, lastly on this one, I believe that sometimes the treasury needs to come down to the realities on the ground. Sometimes when they make decisions, you wonder if they're in the same country as majority of Kenyans are. Whenever there is an opportunity to collect views, whenever even the National Assembly committees that are spending a lot of taxpayers' money collecting views that we know is just a formality, and that money is like the views collected will not even be factored. It's really disheartening, because why would they spend taxpayers' money collecting views that they know are going nowhere? These matters are already decided. As the executive decides is what Parliament will do. So Parliament, most of the time, has failed to live up to its legislative oversight and representative roles. If Parliament stood like the judiciary in most times, the citizens at such a critical moment would know Parliament is there to save them. But because members of Parliament, most of them serve at the behest of the executive, they would do as the executive would say.
All right, and before we let you go, one positive thing that we can talk about in this, probably the equitable share to counties, going up to 400.1 billion shillings. This is about 25% of the last audited revenue, which is from pre-COVID. But this is something positive, Edwin. If at all we can talk about anything positive from this budget-making process, don't you agree?
Yes, Fred, I agree. And there are a number of positives in the budget, just that the pain is imposing. The pain is so bold. But when counties are given more resources, we expect the governors and their committees to prudently use these resources, to channel them in a manner that will not only open up more opportunities in our counties, but also empower the people that are in those counties. So you find sometimes a county is allocated money, but what they actually appropriate for development is very insignificant, is very minor. So you find even to create opportunities in these counties is a challenge. But if governors, through the systems that are working and set up in the counties, can ensure that revenue leakages are sealed, there is prudent management and utilization of resources, I think this country can generate enough to take care of our development needs. And when you see the way the government is emphasizing on the issues of technology, it means it sees an opportunity in tech industry. When you look at the Silicon Valley, how it grows and how it continues to sustain its growth, it is through technology. And Kenya has innovative young minds that, when empowered, can really charge powerfully into the economy. So the national government should take care of wastage and corruption in its system, because that is where we're losing so much. And heavy budgets that are allocated to different offices, be it the presidency or any other department, the resources should be managed prudently. And the auditor and the control of budget should be given maximum capacity to ensure that their roles and the functions are properly executed, so that we avoid these wastages and corruption in government.
All right. Thank you so much, Edwin Kigoli, Youth Policy Analyst, for your time with us and for sharing your views and thoughts on this budget-making process. Yes, we continue with our special coverage of Budget Day, Budget 2024-2025, as we anticipate the appearance of CS for Treasury, Professor Njuguna Ndongo, before the National Assembly later this afternoon to present the budget statement. For now, as I promised earlier, we still have reporters and anchors and correspondents stationed